Burma, Myanmar will have the presidency of the ASEAN countries in 2014. So that's in some way a benchmark. What would you see to be concretely achieved by 2014, and how should the ASEAN partners reflect on what they would like to have achieved by 2014?
What will be achieved by 2014 will depend to a certain extent on the other ASEAN nations. You must know what you want Burma to achieve, and you must let Burma know what you want it to achieve. I believe in working for whatever we want. I don't believe in handouts. So ASEAN should not engage in handouts. You must demand from Burma as well. You must tell them what you expect from them. You must tell them what you expect from the future chair of ASEAN. I think that is very much in order. We must all learn that we don't get anything for nothing. This is a very simple, basic lesson that I keep repeating to our people. We don't get anything for nothing. And there is no use in hoping unless you engage in genuine endeavor. No endeavor, no hope. That is a very simple formula. And I think ASEAN must insist on this. ASEAN must let Burma know what you expect from its chair of 2014.
Madam, may I ask you a personal question? We are coming to the end of this session. What went through your thinking when you stepped down from the plane after 24 years and 1 month abroad?
Well, let me tell you what went on in my mind before I stepped down from the plane. Because the captain was so very kind as to invite me to sit in the cockpit as we were making the landing, so I would have a good view of Bangkok spread out in its nighttime glory. And sitting in the cockpit, I looked at this very, very complicated control panel, very high tech. And it struck me that 30 years ago, my attention would have been riveted on that control panel. It would not have been engaged by all the lights below, because I've landed in New York, I've landed in London. In those past years, I'd seen, well, brighter lights than I saw that evening. But this time, I was completely fascinated by the lights, because I had just left a Burma suffering from electricity cuts. I'd left Burma, when I left Burma 3 days ago, there were demonstrations, candlelight demonstrations going on all over the country, protests against electricity cuts that had been plaguing us for a month or so. And I thought, 30 years ago, the scene that met my eyes on landing in Bangkok would not have been very different from what would have met my eyes on landing in Rangoon. But now the difference is considerable. And this is what went through my mind. I have to say very frankly that what went through my mind was, we need an energy policy.
Now, may I add, before we conclude, another personal question? You had the admiration of the world because you showed so much strength during those many years of struggle. What gave you the strength?
I was asked a question similar to this by young shapers, and I said DNA had a lot to do with it. But I think I should have mentioned something equally important. It was my mother who taught me to be disciplined and to put duty above everything else. She did this not just by teaching me how important duty was, but by acting out her belief in the primacy of duty. Because she taught me that duty mattered more than anything else in life. I don't know whether all of you agree with me or not, and of course then we can argue about what is meant by duty. It became second nature for me to try to discharge my duty as far as I was capable. I can't say I've always been good in the sense of I can't say that I've always put duty before everything else, but I have tried.
The road ahead for both Aung San Suu Kyi and Myanmar would definitely be in the spotlight. And if Myanmar is really committed to reforms, then not only will Myanmar enjoy prosperity, but the whole region as well. See you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ